Howdy! I decided to change the background and we're gonna do Grandmaster Spider Solitaire on Too Sweet, because I want all of us to be frustrated as fuck. Um, yes, pain. The reason is pain and the desire to feel it, right? That's how that works. Anyhow, uncle, I want to tell you about my trip to the dentist. Why? Because I have no one else to talk to, because no one else wants to be my friend. So it's your responsibility now, whoever's listening to this. You're my friend now. So you have to listen to the story. That's how that works, I think. And so anyway, so I went to the dentist after, like, way too long. A good, 5 years of not going to the dentist, because who the fuck wants to go to the every 6 months? Every 6 year joke. It's just a scam. Right? No, I'm not doing that. So anyway, I decided to not go for a long time. And then one day I was flossing, because even though I don't go to the dentist, I still take care of my teeth. And I was flossing and it hurt, and I was like, uh-oh, well now I gotta go to the dentist. So that broke that streak. A good 10, I was hoping for 10 years, but anyway, doesn't matter. So I went to the dentist and got my teeth cleaned, and the dentist was like, you got two cavities. Okay. Or at least a redo of a cavity. Okay, that's fine. After that long not going, I'm not surprised. So I go and I get my cavities filled, everything's good. And then I eat a piece of bread, and my tooth starts going cuckoo bananas. And I'm in a lot of pain, and so I call them, and they let me come in, and they tell me I need to go see an endodontist, and they don't do the tests in-house for a root canal. She's thinking I might need a root canal. They want the endodontist. And they said something really weird. She started with, people get scared when they hear the word root canal, but they're not going to do it unless that you really need it. And I'm like, okay, sounds good. So I go to the endodontist, and I don't know, it's a really big experience. I start, with the reception area, and she says, they'll be with you in a while. And I was just like, okay. I don't know, that wording was weird. We'll be with you in a while. Okay. And then, yeah, sure enough, a good 15 minutes after my appointment was scheduled, they had me come back, and the woman in the back started, before she even did a single test, she's like, well, if you need the root canal done, do you want it done today? And I'm like, I guess. I don't know how much it is at this point. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if I need it. Starts with, hey, if you need it done, do you want it done today? Okay. So she pokes around in my mouth and takes an x-ray and all that jazz, and she poked one of my tooths, and then she kind of pulled back and goes, see, that's a normal tooth. And it didn't feel like it was. It didn't feel like it was a normal tooth. It felt like it was close to the tooth that I was having issues with. Anyway, I jumped, right, at a normal reaction, and then she puts the cold thing on my bad tooth again. I'm like, I feel it, it's there, I feel it. And she pulls back and she's like, unfortunately, it looks like you do need a root canal. Keep in mind, this was not the endodontist. This was not a doctor. This was some dental assistant. I don't know her education level, but she was not the doctor. And then she goes, do you want to get it done today? I'm like, well, how much is it? And then she tells me it's like $14. I'm like, well, no, I don't want to get that done today. I want a little bit to think about that, because right now it's not in a lot of pain. And then so I start to leave. And again, at this point, I still had not seen the endodontist at all. I hadn't seen an actual doctor. So I start to leave, and I'm like, I don't want it. I think I can't remember if I said I was going to get a second opinion, but that's basically what I was going to do. I was going to get a second opinion. And the dentist starts yelling across the reception area. He's like, you're all set whenever you're ready, and he starts writing me a prescription. I'm like, I don't even know that I need a prescription. Like, I don't even know what I need a prescription for. And I'm like, I'm just gonna go. And so I tried to leave, and literally the endodontist like followed me out of the building and tried to get me to get the root canal. I don't know. It was super shysty, and I felt really uncomfortable with the fact that like somebody who is not the doctor was like making that decision for me, and like the doctor never even looked at my X-ray, never said anything about it. Doctor didn't come in and tell me I needed root canal, just like the random assistant did. So I was really skeeved out, and I was really upset for like a day. Cause stuff like that, like, I'm not good at like confrontation and stuff, so stuff like that really bothers me. So I go to another dentist, and they do the same tests, and they get basically a similar reaction, but she tells me, and this is an actual dentist this time, tells me, looks like right now you don't need a root canal. Things can always change. However, right now your tooth is acting normal. Tooth is acting how I would expect it to act. And I'm just like, what is with this weird what do I want to say, like root canal scam, this like root canal mill. Like it's not the first time I've heard people having experiences with like dentists and people in the field flat out basically lying to them about what they might need for their teeth. And I'm like baffled about why this is allowed and why basically got a similar reaction, and one dentist will say it's fine and one dentist will say it's not fine. Like, what is it actually? What is it? If I move, if I move that there, can I put this? Yes. I'm thinking really hard about this. My brain. Yeah, I don't know. So it's a very strange experience. And now I'm kind of scared to go back to the dentist who recommended me to that endodontist, because like he was so fucking wacky and out there that I felt really uncomfortable. I don't know if that's like fair or whatever, but I feel like really grossed out by that experience. So I don't know what I plan on doing right now. But yeah, I don't know what I plan on doing. But allegedly I don't need a root canal, so I don't know. It's just really strange. Has anyone else had like a fucking weird ass experience with their teeth? And like there's a very distinct lack of humility with dental care, I feel like. A lot of dentists or orthodontists, endodontists, whatever, like, just don't care. They'll do work that you don't need just so they can get a paycheck. And then maybe they're thinking, oh, well, it doesn't matter because it doesn't matter if it's your real teeth or not, like, I'll still do the work. It kind of like reminds me of like when people get stents for their heart, like stents in your heart to clear up some blockages. They'll just put in stent after stent after stent, and they're never gonna actually fix your issue, or they're never gonna like have some like tough love and tell you need to like clean your act up because you're doing it to yourself. There's never any of that. It's just like stent, 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 stent. and just because I can, because they'll get paid percent. Yeah. I don't know, it's just, sometimes I wonder if I'm being obstinate because I don't really ever seek out healthcare. Like, it has to be like an actual true emergency. And then I have experiences like I had, and I'm like, nope, I was right. I should not have, I was happy that I did what I did. I don't know, I can't imagine kind of like lack of ethics that you have to have in order to actually like do work on people who don't actually need it. It's super, super sketchy. And why as a society do we like allow this to happen in this industry? And like in healthcare in general, like why do we allow just like such shitty fucking doctors? Oh my god, there's some shitty fucking doctors out there. It's, y'all, again, my pets are going crazy. Yeah, I just don't understand, like, just because someone passes a school program does not mean that they should automatically be imbued with more respect than they have earned. And that's a big problem, in my opinion, of course. I'm not making this any better, am I? Is it making this feel? I'm not making this feel any better. Yeah, no, I see a lot of that working in healthcare. I see a lot of very obstinate doctors who insist on doing things their way, even when you provide them with all of the clinical evidence that says otherwise. They don't care. They're just going to continue to do things their way, regardless, because they think they're right, even if literally clinical evidence, like, they're not doing evidence-based medicine anymore. They're doing whatever they were taught 15 or 50 years ago. And even though we are required in healthcare to do continuing education, they don't care. They'll do it and they'll ignore it. And it's kind of a struggle for someone who's not a direct, like, doctor, because again, we just imbue these people with entirely too much respect. They haven't earned the respect that they get. And honestly, on the contrary, they've earned less respect because of how shitty they treat their patients and how not open they are to new evidence-based practices. And they still get a ton of respect from people and admiration when they don't do anything good for their patients. So I don't get it. Like, I've never respected a doctor just because. I guess. And, the ones that call down to me in my field and, like, are nice to me and everything, that's fine. That I don't mind. Those ones are okay. But it's the one when you, like, you tell them that it's not indicated. What they want, like, we really shouldn't be doing. It's not in our practices. It's not in our policy. What they want to do. And, just, like, refuse to believe you. Like, they want it anyway. It's like, but it could harm. You're doing more harm than good at this point. And they don't care. They're just like, no, I want this. I don't care how much it. And, like, harm, it's not always, like, a physical harm. It's not always in terms of, like, giving them, like, the wrong medicine or stuff like that. That's not the only kind of harm that can happen. Some of the harm is simply, like, financial harm, in my opinion. I think it counts as financial malpractice, because unfortunately, if you're a doctor in America, you do have to consider a patient's financial costs, because they are considering their financial costs whether or not they want treatment, because some of them can't afford it because we don't have universal healthcare. That's just how it is. I'm not gonna get too in depth into that debate, but that's our system. And people who are severely worried about things, but they're also worried about the cost, and, like, literally putting someone into debt for the rest of their life because you wanted an answer about something that was probably not super clinically relevant, or you wanted us to do, like, way more work, or, like, we get this a lot, where a doctor wants to redo a test or redo an exam because they don't understand the results. I've had doctors contact me, like, I don't understand the results, can we do it again? Just because you're not seeing what you want out of a textbook, like a textbook answer, doesn't mean that it's wrong. Like, it might have been the wrong test to order. It might have been the wrong exam to order, and it's going to lead you down the wrong path because, it's not something that you need to be concerned with. It's not information that you need to be worried about. And, I mean, that happens. I was doing so good on that level. You get doctors who are new to the field or undereducated or overeducated in a specific topic or highly focused in a specific topic. Like, you have doctors who, really want to see somebody have worms and they insist on worm testing, or, really insist on, I don't know, something. There's gotta be something with their chest. God, the amount of chest x-rays. Like, why? Why does everyone need a chest x-ray? Just putting a patient at an additional harm and basically financial malpractice for them, in terms of, like, not caring if it's going to charge the patient more, just so you can have more answers than you need in order to figure out what's wrong with them. Like, that's not what we should be doing. Like, so what they need to do is a differential diagnosis, and some of them are better at like, waiting and actually thinking about it, and some of them are not. And I've seen some really bad cases of potential over too much medicine. Too much, like, poking and prodding. Like, you can't have too much of a good thing. I'm sure I've talked about this before. I feel like I've talked about this before. I probably have ranted about this already. It's still a constant battle. We had a situation today where they wanted a bunch of tests on a newborn, and it just felt like you're torturing this little baby. For what? And it's just like, when stuff like that happens, it gets really, obviously really frustrating, because there's nothing I can do. I just have to do what I need to do, and yeah. So I don't know, it's like, that was a horrible draw. Do I stay in this profession that, like, puts me at odds with my feelings about how we should treat people? Or do I just, like, kind of put my head down for a while and just let things be and accept the fact that I don't know everything, and that maybe there is something there that they're doing that I don't know about? I don't know. But when they start calling, and it's very clear that they have not done any research about what they're doing, they're just shotgunning for answers. It's obvious when y'all do that, by the way. It's super obvious when you don't know what you're doing. We know. Allied Health knows. Because we are highly educated in, like, very specific topics in Allied Health. Like, that's our specialty. Like, we're not doctors, but that's our specialty. And I don't think people, like, I don't think we get a good amount of respect for that, or even acknowledgement that we actually kind of know what the fuck we're talking about a little bit. Because that's all we do. Like, your x-ray person, that's all they do. And honestly, your doctor's not even interpreting their own x-rays. They're not taking the x-rays. They're waiting for the radiologist to do that, and then they'll go from there. And so I don't understand the lack of respect when you know that you need someone else's education in order to do your job. You need me to know how to do my job in order for you to do your job. Man, I could kill for a 5. Ah, it's right there. Bitch. I feel so defeated. I've been trying really hard. Hmm? Hmm. Hmm. Man, I'd kill for 7. Eh? Nope. There's no 7s here. Sad. Because then I could put it. Why? It's not my day. Anyway, I guess I can reiterate my statement. I think I've said this before. I don't know. Sometimes I don't upload videos or sessions that I do. But I guess I can reiterate that you should advocate for yourself, and if you ever feel like your doctor's wrong, you should feel empowered to question them because they literally do not know everything. They actually know very little, in my opinion. The newer doctors know less and less every year, and it's been increasingly frustrating because they order everything. They order every kind of extra. They just want a full body scan. They want every single test imaginable. They want every single consult because they have no fucking clue what they're doing and they don't know how to do a differential diagnosis. And I don't know, maybe it's just the hospital that I'm at right now. But there's just like some real gross incompetence and lack of humility. And it's okay if you don't know what you're doing, but have some humility. Like, you can't have both. You can't be a dumbass and an asshole. Like, if you're gonna be an asshole, you better be the fucking best asshole around. You better fucking know. Okay, I give up, but I will probably lose in like 2 minutes. Let's see here. Yeah. So I'll just real quick tell a little quick story. I was working and I had a doctor call me, and they asked. He was asking for results on a very specific thing, and I let him know that those results were already on the patient's chart in the computer. And he starts like, he had a very particular like angry tone of voice. But I didn't take it personally because someone else was saying that's just like just how he talks. So I was like, okay, and but it was just, I don't know, it was very like the lack of humility that he called down, wanting results, and like they're in there, and then and like, he wants to almost argue with me about if we ran the correct thing, if we like tested the right thing. Yeah, that's all in the computer. Like that information, we wrote, we put down what we tested for. It's all in there. So like, there's just the absolute like gross ignorance and incompetence, and like to waste his own time. I mean, he wasted his own time calling and demanding results for something that was already there. And that's even more mind-boggling. Like, it takes more time for you to be incompetent. Like, just be good at your job, and it'll be easier, and then it'll take less time. Like that's how that works. So stuff like that is what I'm talking about. I'm sure there's a lot of really decent, really good doctors out there, and I know there are. There's a lot of them, and I wish other doctors would check other doctors more often. I wish there was more checks, because I just feel like some of them just get away with literally killing people. And that's what's frustrating. And as frustrating as it is to lose every single one of those. But that's all I got. I gotta do stuff.